Good morning, everyone. I'm your host, Gianluca Samir, and today we have Caesar Attard, who's a local artist. But before we're going to head to the interview, we're going to show you guys his work, and we're going to roll to the feature.
Caesar Attard, a local Maltese artist, studied at the Malta School of Art from 1966 to 1973. He is a former lecturer in visual art practice and in history of art in the art department at the Junior College of the University of Malta from 1995 to 2011. Since 1969, he has been consistently active in the Maltese art scene, participating and conducting exhibitions in Malta and overseas. He was a member of local art groups Atelier 56, Spectrum 67, and Vision 74. Since the early 1970s, he has been experimenting in non-traditional art forms, most particularly those which involve the participation of the public. One of many projects was called Tongueskate, for a group show called Milkshake in 2013. The public had two ways to interact with Tongueskate, by looking at it or by walking through it. The bouncy rubber tongues, which was provocatively close to each other, created a narrow passageway which led visitors to walk through to enter the galleries, that being the reward. This turns the center of attention onto the participant. A more recent exhibition was BSB, Blood, Spittle, Blank, a live event which was open to the public at the Malta Society of Arts in 2017. The public was invited to either prick their finger and let a drop of blood stain a cotton pad, or drop sputum on a square reactive paper, or else present a blank paper. They would then fix it on a wall arranged for the purpose. The experiment introduced a highly personal and physically intimate experience to each individual who participated.
Welcome back from the feature. That was Caesar Attard, the local artist that we have in today's show. Anyways, thank you for coming, Caesar Attard. It was a very pleasure. All right. So my question is that I want to know, how did you become inspired to become an artist? And can you give me like a little brief of what is the story behind of all this?
Yes. First of all, the main inspiration comes from your surroundings, from the family, from your peers, and from other people who are involved in some way in your education. That's when you get the feedback about you, and the knowledge that you may do something interesting and worthwhile if you say pursue a career. You imagine you can pursue a career in art.
Exactly.
And that goes through various levels, from the primary to secondary to art education, until you start meeting with other artists, and you get their feedback, which is very important.
So actually, yeah, feedback is very much indeed important, because without feedback, you can't really like tackle the areas that you want to improve. And so I do certainly agree with that statement. So my next question is that in your opinion, right, what why is art, or is it art important to society?
In fact, this ties up with what I was saying already.
Right.
That is, you don't make yourself an artist.
Yeah.
Society makes you an artist.
I see.
And that goes, if you go back to history, even to almost Paleolithic times,
I see.
it's the society that produces the works through the artist.
I see.
So the art, the society, that's a fact. Then, of course, it's your response.
Of course.
How you respond to that. There are artists who respond individually,
Yeah, I see.
in their attic, in their studio, how they
Actions,
react to what's going on, and then the public will associate, will identify with what they have done and give them importance, and that's how they come to light, and they end up in the museums and people visiting them. No need to mention a lot of famous, very famous artists.
There are plenty for sure to mention. Yeah. So, yeah, you said that society makes you an artist. Can you try to elaborate on that?
Society makes you an artist because it's not a matter of how much technique you know. That is, whether you can draw well, or whether you can paint well, or produce a lot of effects.
I see.
It's a matter of what you do has a certain signification for other people, all right? For you and for the others in general. There are works which do not interest us nowadays, but in the past they were very important
I see.
for the development and for the self-knowledge of the society.
Yeah. It all takes time, of course.
So that is one thing. Another thing is that the artist, in a way, needs the participation of society, of the public.
Exactly.
And because that can be attained in different ways.
Yeah.
Not necessarily by painting or drawing, but even by doing certain participation events,
of course,
etc.
The dedication to put in art, the amount of time you put in, it all plays a part, of course. So my next question is that what advice would you give to any inspiring artists who are studying in the creative aspect?
Yeah. First of all, to be creative, one can be creative in various ways.
Of course.
In science, in technology, in whatever. In football.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
That's creativity, of course. But then the art part of this creativity touches certain areas which perhaps aren't the focus of the other disciplines.
Of course.
Or fields. So this this part requires a certain dedication.
Of course.
Remind me again part of the question.
So it was what would advice, if you had to give one advice,
yes.
what would it be?
Yes. So I would say that rather than trying to be an artist, try to do your thing, whatever it is, and then the result would reflect on who you are.
Yes.
And that's what art is. It's who you are and how that is appreciated by others.
I see. All right. That was Caesar Attard in today's show. It was a pleasure talking about him and his passion about art. Unfortunately, this is the end of the show. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys later.